We are joined now by the mayor of Madison, Satya Rhodes-Conway. Mayor, thank you so much for being here. You know, as we outlined, turnout, this is going to be key. It was the highest in 60 years recently in the primary there. How does that make you feel headed into November?
Well, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. You are absolutely right. We've seen a really impressive turnout in the August primary. I think surprising even those of us who were feeling the excitement on the ground. And I think it bodes really well for November. I think people are energized to vote. I think they are excited to vote. And I think they understand what's at stake in this election.
You know, we didn't hear much policy at the DNC, as expected. You've campaigned for Harris. You were a delegate at the DNC. What about her messaging do you believe is resonating most with voters where you are? Where do you believe also she has work to do?
You know, one of the things that I actually did hear pretty substantially from the stage of the DNC was talk about housing. And that is a message that very much resonates here in Madison. And we are experiencing a housing crisis. We are trying to build as much housing as possible, but we need the federal government's help. And to hear her talk about that from the stage of the DNC, to hear former President Obama talk about it, is really gives me a lot of hope that if when we elect Harris and Walz to the White House, they are going to be helping local communities build more housing and get more resources into the housing space. So I'm excited about that, and I want to hear more about it.
So as you know, the economy, by far the biggest issue among voters in the state. Housing plays into that, of course. With Harris as part of the current administration, Mayor, how is she relaying to voters that she's better on this issue? And how is that message landing in your view?
You know, I think one of the things that Vice President Harris has been really clear on is the impact that the Biden-Harris policies have had on lowering prices for working families. And that's something that we feel right here in Madison every day. You just look, for example, at the decreased drug prices under the Inflation Reduction Act. It's making a difference for people who use insulin, for seniors. I mean, it's amazing how much prescription drugs can be as part of a household budget. So just bringing those costs down for folks, I think it really has a big impact. And I think it resonates for people. I have personally talked to people who say it's really made a difference in their lives. And they understand that Vice President Harris was part of getting that done.
And what would you say to those who say, you know, the Trump administration did more on lowering drug costs? We've heard those criticisms. How do you think the campaign will counter?
You know, I mean, I don't know what leg they have to stand on saying that President Trump was actually lowering costs for anybody during his term. And certainly as you look forward to a potential second Trump term, you know, we know that it would cost folks in Wisconsin an extra $4,000 every year if Donald Trump is elected and is able to implement Project 2025. $4,000 a year. That's a huge impact on a household budget. So I just don't think there's any credibility to saying that Donald Trump is going to lower prices.
All right. Well, we'll leave the specifics of the issue for now. On a state level, Mayor, you know, new maps, this could create a flip in the Republican-controlled legislature, as you know. How do you see that playing out potentially in November?
Well, first of all, we're delighted to have fair maps in Wisconsin. And I think that the big impact in November is going to be that people have more contested races across the state. We're going to see higher turnout. And frankly, I think that is going to help the Harris-Walz ticket. And it's going to help Senator Baldwin get reelected. And I do think we're going to take back seats in the state assembly for Democrats. We'll see if we can win that House or not. But the main impact, I think, is that people are energized about having a real choice in their state legislative elections.
We have seen that. The question is, can the Trump team combat it? It seems like so far that momentum's still rolling with the Harris campaign. Mayor Rhodes-Conway, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.